showed up though. I got to see it. It looks whatever. It looks like it did last time.
Yeah.
Put some good light on my face.
Yo. I got a natural light. Wow, such a beautiful day.
Didn't it rain this morning?
It rained like 20 minutes ago for like 20 seconds.
What you saying, bro?
I'm just saying, man, like, just being. It's so like too much time.
You think so?
Yeah, cause like, bro, like when we would be in school and everything, or even just like on the weekend, and I'd like go outside, and that would be like the bus alone would take me 2 hours right there and back. I felt like I could get more done just because I would like be on the move, like I'm moving.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like I am doing more, but now it's like I'm in one spot, and I'm like, you can do everything, anything you want in that spot, but like, I don't know. I guess it's a lack of movement. It just makes it feel like you're not doing much.
Yeah. Um, I was talking to Al about this the other day. You know how like we'd say like the whole virus thing is like a product of kind of like a God telling us to chill the fuck out and all of that. Um, you know how we always talk about law of attraction and shit?
Yeah.
Well, the way I see it now is like, you know how we always complain about not wanting to go to work?
Right.
And when we go to work, we complain. We're like, I just wish I didn't have to go to work and I could just stay home and just still make money though, and like still
Yeah.
be able to do whatever the fuck I want. I just wish I could just not go out, you know what I'm saying? Not have to go out and do all these responsibilities. But then now that's exactly what's going on, where it's like we're getting paid like 2,000 a month to just sit at home while they try to figure everything out. And we're just not doing, we get to be at home, not work. And the people who work at home, or they work short hours or whatever.
And it's worse working at home. It's not.
Yeah, it's
It's not.
not, no. Like my sister works she does fraud for TD Bank, and so right now she's like working till 7. I think she started at 11. She's doing 11 to 7 at home. Um and you can see how depressed she gets
It's a
because
whole
she's
different.
home, because you're home, like you're not in a work environment where it's made to make you feel like working. You're home where you usually chill out and like waste time and eat and do all cool stuff, but you're sitting here taking calls.
The environment is not. Yeah. It's not suitable.
Yeah, and everyone around you is not working and they're just doing whatever. Like I'm just walking around, sitting around doing jack shit, and she's here taking calls. Um, okay, but we could talk about what we've been doing. I wrote this morning, my like, cause I journal. I thought I'd share it because it's pretty kind of breaks down like what's been going on recently. Um, and then we could talk about that because that's like I have zero complaints except for the fact that I just can't make plans whenever I want. That's the only downside so far. Everything else has been the
Yeah.
biggest blessing I could ever receive in my entire life. Anyways, um so 030520 today. Seeing everyone slash everything as my teacher has been helping me with my training immensely. Since starting Ramadan, I've been in full time training, quote unquote full time training. Most of my days are filled with meditations, Bible study, listening to and reading teachings, cooking and cleaning for my family, and making music. What has happened over the past few days is I've had a switch of consciousness where I've been seeing everyone and everything as a teacher of mine. The way that has helped me is that when I get caught, when I get brought down, we have this thing when we get into the the path, like we get so aware of what brings us down,
Mm.
and it becomes a game of like, yo, like fuck, I just need to remain, right? When I get brought down, I don't blame the thing that brought me down, and I don't judge myself too harshly for being brought down. Instead, I see it as my teacher giving me the next lesson, showing me where I still have work to do. So the past few days, when things have happened with people or simply with things, with like objects and inanimate objects or whatever that have pulled me down, my awareness is at a point where the pull is extremely noticeable, and I can catch myself and transmute the moment into a teaching and get to work on whatever my teacher says I need to work on. It's far out, but it is helping me in ways I can't describe. So that's kind of like the biggest. You know how when when you're on this thing, it's so simple, but also such a wide universe, like the spiritual path, because there's so many religions which are just different methods, which all just have their own system, which is all their own system of how you get to that place. It can be so confusing that sometimes you feel lost and you want someone to help you guide, like someone who's been through the road to help you. Um, I've also been like when I say I've been listening to and reading teachings, I've literally just been listening to and reading Ram Dass. Um, that's like my main teacher right now. So when things happen, I see the Ram Dass in everyone. So when my headphones broke, I was like, wow, Ram Dass, you're really coming to test me right now. You really try. So like I felt it, and then I had to sit with it and be like, okay, it's just an object, blah blah blah.
Like, do I punch a wall or just keep breathing?
I could have gone mad, but I didn't. And now look, these headphones are still working. I just fixed it. Um, but the reason it brought me down is because in the morning, like earlier, I think the day before, like I got into an argument with Alec because I've been like basically on FaceTime with her like every day. Um, and she's been a big teacher of mine for the past few days because when you stop seeing like, the more you know someone, the more like apparent their own shortcomings and flaws become, right? And the
Yeah.
easier it becomes to judge them and to point fingers and to blame and say this that is wrong about you. But that doesn't solve anything for you, because the reason why I see it as my teacher is every time she would do something where I could judge or I could blame, what I see is the fact that it brings me down means that's something in me that I lack, that I'm not capable of overcoming that and looking
You
past
see
that.
this problem, and that's a problem to you.
Yeah.
Can't.
So it's like there's nothing anyone can do to me, because as soon as I'm affected, it's just a sign of my own weakness. And it's a sign of me being conditional with my acceptance of the person. So whenever that happens now and I feel myself getting brought down, I'm like, okay, this is where I lack, and this is something I need to work on overcoming. And if it's appropriate to bring it up and to discuss it with the person, it's fine. But most of the time it's not. Because in the end, it's not even your karma what the person is doing. That's their karma. That's their personality. That's their baggage that they have to deal with. Your baggage is however you react to whatever they do. So, like
But I find it
everything.
helpful, like with the awareness of like bringing it up, but with the awareness of like just lovingly be like, hey, look, these are your habits.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm just putting it here for you to assess, and that's it.
But the thing is, when you're with someone who isn't necessarily on that path, not to necessarily bring the person down, but like if someone doesn't see things that way, and the person is very like sensitive to criticism, when you bring it up, even if you try to, like, we're not realized beings, so there's always going to be a sense of separateness when we do bring these things up. That's why the good rule of thumb is don't bring it up and just like deal with, unless it's extreme and it's like you can't even interact with the person anymore and it's becoming such a fucking problem, then you can bring it up and try to work with it. But until then, it's like it's really just like how you interpret, like what's like, what can you do? What can you do? The person's acting in a way that
That's
they've.
just I mean because it's like you can't hold their hand through the whole thing. You
That's the
can't.
thing.
But you can put your hand out and be like, you can take it or
Yeah.
not.
That's the. I mean, that's the main thing. Ram Dass. This is a Ram Dass fan podcast.
Since he died, the day before, I didn't even know who he was.
um, that's the thing he talks about. The greatest offering you have for someone is your work on yourself, because the best thing you can do, the most it's the job of the most conscious person in an environment to create a space so that whenever the other people are ready to join, that space is there and built and ready and safe enough for them to enter. You don't go, hey man, this path is really changing me. Like I think you should get on it. And when they say no, you're like, no, bro. You try to force them into it because if they're not ready, it's the same thing that I think I brought it up before.
Right?
Hmm?
Because it's going to push them farther away.
Yeah, it pushes them further away because there's a sense of separateness by you trying to force them into it because you're seeing them as so not that you're enforcing the polarity that they're in, right? If you're trying to help them from the perspective of like you need to get on this, you're enforcing the fact that they're not on this instead
Right.
of just letting them be and just that's just their karma has not brought them to the point where they're ready for that yet. And if you try to force them into it, um what the metaphor analogy that he says is it's like plugging a 120 volt electrical thing into a 100-volt outlet. It's not going to work out.
Right.
So you just let the person be. You let them be where they are. If you're not seeing eye to eye, you try to accept them for wherever they lack, whatever. um and then when they're ready, you want to make sure that you've been working on yourself enough that you are there to help them whenever they're ready to be helped. So you
Kind of
don't.
like letting silence do the job.
Yeah. And that's I mean, working on yourself just makes you become a mirror. That's why I'm pretty sure that's what the Polishing the Mirror book that he wrote talks about. Like when you're with someone like Maharaji or like Jesus or like a realized person, those people don't necessarily tell you anything.
Yeah.
It's just they're so free that
It's
like
like
you
it's like
see where you lack
yeah,
right by
it's
looking at them.
it's like angry, right? Oh fuck this like the fucking bus, man. And then your friend just says nothing instead of adding to the fire or being like, man, like it's okay. Instead, you're just sitting there looking at them,
Yeah.
and then you
It's
let.
the hardest it's the hardest game though. Cuz the pull of the world, bro, is so strong.
Oh,
The pull
oh,
of
the
the
pull.
world, it's so strong that like that's why I'm so happy of this time because this time is forcing us all to stay inside. So I have no obligations to go outside right now. So while I have this time inside, I'm just taking the time to really like. So you know how I was telling you my Sundays are like my offline days where I don't go off, where I don't go like on Twitter, blah blah blah, until maybe later in the day. I've made that every day in the week where all of my apps are turned off. You can put a downtime on your phone so it turns off the apps so you don't get the notifications for it. All my apps are off until 8 on the weekdays, which is when I'm about to break fast. Um, and then today, Sundays, I go fully off where I remove notifications from the computer. So no FaceTime calls, no text messages, like no my phone is off Wi-Fi and then it's off for the entire day. So until 11:59, my downtime is on. So today, ideally, I shouldn't go on Instagram or Twitter online at all. So
And
that like,
pull too, like the difference between like being bombarded with like messages and like, oh shit, I have to worry about this. This person said that.
mm,
This person said that. Instead, you're just like, oh, I don't even. It doesn't matter because I'm just here now.
yeah, and it's not becoming boring anymore. Like man, the weirdest thing right now that's going on is an indication that I'm actually where like that I'm my high currently is being felt in my body. You know where you feel calmness in mind and that's cool. Like my high is being felt. Like I know when I'm high now because I don't know if it's Kundalini. I don't know what it is. I don't want to describe it because that's not the point, right? To not I don't want to attach to like any milestone I achieve. Um,
Hmm.
but
Nihil-
in a
it's like borderline
oh,
nihilism.
bro, it gets so subtle. It gets so subtle every time. When I'm doing mantra, when I'm laying down, I think when my spine is sure, like right now, it's happening where lower spine, like a lower back, lower spine area, like around your what does Dada call it, where you put the light in? Yeah, I feel you know the melting feeling when you're on acid.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I
Rush of blood, like almost.
it feels almost as
Oh,
feels like
never,
your
never.
spine is it's almost orgasmic in a way.
Mm,
And
yeah.
it's like it feels like it's melted. Like that's what's been going on.
Wow.
Um and I'm like and I try not to hold on to it when it's especially when it's not there because it feels so good that it allows you to just stay there and you're just like you kind of feel in awe and you're just like oh and it's good. It's tasty, but
The
it's
weird
not the
thing
goal.
is, I'm doing it now, and I can just kind of like let go and just feel it. And the thing is, like, the moment you're aware of it, and like it's like this tension, and your mind just pulls it, and then now it's gone.
Yeah. Um and then meditation wise, like my more oh you could talk about your routine. My routine is I've simplified it, but I spend a lot more time on this. Like I remove stuff. Oh shit, sorry. I remove stuff, but
Keep
it's
forgetting.
it allows like it allows me to go deeper into whatever I do. So I wake up, um, like shower, brush teeth, whatever the usual, and then I'll get in. Hmm?
What time do you wake up?
Oh, I've been staying up late, so uh, like I'll go to bed at like 3, 4,
Jeez.
sometimes 5, sometimes 6. So I'll wake up anywhere between 10 and 1. Um, I don't really care. Actually, going to sleep at 4 is awesome because 4 is the best time to meditate. Oh my god, the 4 I don't go to sleep without it. So like when it's 4 and I'm freaking exhausted and I end the call, I'm like, all right, this time to go, blah blah. I do 30 minutes. So basically the routine is I wake up, I shower, brush my teeth, and I do asanas.
Mm.
Um, for anywhere from 15, depends on how I feel. Like if I'm very sloppy when I wake up and I don't feel like it, I'll do like 15. If I feel like it, I'll do like 40 minutes, maybe more, and then I'll do breath work. So I'll do Wim Hof, and then this morning I went a bit deeper. So I did I think it's what is it? What's it called?
Parvati.
Yeah, that one where you pump. Yeah, I did that. I did one where you inhale fully, exhale, and then hold, and then kind of push your diaphragm in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then when you want to breathe again, you inhale and then
Right.
you exhale. Yeah. And then I did the alternate nostril breathing. And then after that, uh, I sat for 33 minutes. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm adding a minute every week.
Mm.
So 33 minutes from Sunday to next Sunday. Next Sunday, I go 34.
Bye.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, you want to eat?
He can't hear you.
I wish.
She can't hear you. But merci, that was my mom. Of course. Yeah, and then I'll do that, and then after meditation, I'll sit and then listen to teaching. So like I've been listening to the same lectures over and over again because they're good enough that they can last a long time. If not, I'll just pick a new episode in the podcast. And Ram Dass's podcast. Literally, my life is just dedicated to Ram Dass at this point. I have a picture of this nigga on my shrine, nigga. Like it's just, I look at it when I get pulled down or when I'm very high. I look at it, I'm like, wow, Ram Dass, this is crazy. When it's hard and I feel myself getting pulled out, I'm like, Ram Dass, this is so hard, man. And yeah, and I read, and then when I'm done listening, I'll read to this book, which is The Only Dance There Is. Very good. It's just his thoughts transcribed. Um, or I'll read the Bible and contemplate it. I've been going very slow on that, but
Pocket book, pocket edition.
oh yeah, it's so small. Bro, it's so high.
Bro, I seen some of the passages you sent me. It's like
What the?
it's actually,
fuck?
bro, it's psychedelic as fuck. It's like it's like a drop.
It's so high. Like it starts with Jesus' birth, but then it kind of fast forwards to after his like when he starts, like the 3 years, like post baptism, and when he starts to actually like basically walks in this city and he just lays down the first teaching. And the first teaching is the quotes I've been sending you. Huh?
At 3 years old?
No. It's like later in his like so after it fast forwards after his birth to when he's like older,
Oh, okay.
and then it starts the teaching, which is what I've been sending you. So like when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on the mountain and he sat down. His disciples came to him. He opened his mouth and began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the gentle or the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger for and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied." And on and on and on. And it's literally just 4 pages of just the teaching. And then that's what I've been contemplating. I've just been highlighting what like stands out and thinking about it for like a bit, letting it sit and work around. So the one I was contemplating this morning was do not judge so that you will not be judged, for in the way you judge you will be judged, and by your standard of measure it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," and behold, the log is in your own eye?
Mm.
You hypocrite. First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. So we tend to judge so much. And then the thing is, when you get over judging, you become judgmental of people who judge. So
Right.
you're like, oh, Jesus said you shouldn't judge, and you're going to hell for committing the sin of judgment. And yeah,
It's like the psychological aspect of that too is amazing. It's like,
it
of
frees you.
course, of course, you'll see the exact same thing in other people that you lack, and it's just like being perpetuated on and on and on and on.
Yeah. How about you? What's your like day
Routine.
to day been like? Yeah.
Mm,
I
usually
mean,
wake
you
up.
sent the Paul check thing, the
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah. I try to wake up at 6.
It's
Just
hard.
never, bro. It doesn't happen. But I keep going. Like I'm getting closer and closer. I wake up at like 8, 9
Mm-hmm.
on average, and then I usually do my like brush, and then either meditate or do my movement practice. So yoga, some strength training, just like simple like bear crawls, push-ups, and then finish with some tai chi. 20 minutes. I've been doing it for 15 days straight now,
Hmm.
and it's great. It's
Good,
so
huh?
good. It's so good. It's moving meditation. Like I did a bunch of research on it too, and there's a lot of benefits. Like um,
Energy.
it harmonizes. Yeah, it makes energy if you don't have it. As
And
long
it
as you're
moves it around too. It not only makes it, but it moves it around to the right places, right?
yeah. So
Mm.
well, not to the right places, just all over. Because the basic principle behind it is like if you're sprinting, or let's say sprinting, your muscles in certain places have to contract to bring blood, right? To concentrate the blood so you can actually like power because
Yeah.
it's fast. So when that happens, your blood is actually being restricted because it needs it at certain points. So it's like tension. It's like you're holding tension here. You're getting a lot of blood here, but it's taking it from everywhere else in your body.
Yeah.
So the basic principle is like the faster you move, the slower chi moves, or prana, or life force energy. And the slower you move, the faster chi moves, chi flows. So it's all about like slow movements and like
So
timing your breathing.
the slower you can do it, the better it is.
Yeah, and yeah, it's very simple, just like circular movements. Because nothing in life is actually straight or a line, right? It's like you look at the atom; it's a nucleus, it's round. So you kind of like mimic that, and you're just basically bringing your body and harmonizing it to the natural rhythm of the earth or nature.
There's no start and end to any movement. It's every
Yeah,
moment is flowing
yeah,
into the next, and it's
yeah,
not ending.
exactly.
That's awesome.
So I do the Tai Chi, and then I used to shower and then eat, but we're fasting.
Yeah.
So then I shower, or if not, I help my mom with the backyard, and then okay, shower. And then honestly, right after that, I'm like not productive at all. I'll be trying to figure out what to do with the rest of the day, with the whole day. I'll be like shopping. I'm doing a lot of shopping, and man, I spent so much money
Hmm.
or enough. Um, I read here and there, mostly watching like YouTube videos and podcasts. Yeah, not much else. And I'll break fast around 6, and then do the dishes, blah blah blah. Spend some time with my family, and it's really like lame, man. Like it's becoming rigid and stale. It feels like.
Mm.
So I really need to like just practice rather than get sucked in. And I usually sleep
Yeah,
around 11.
because it's hard to. I think that having so much time, there's a lot of pressure that we will put on ourselves to like find something to do. Like if you're not doing anything, you're a piece of shit, and you're gonna judge yourself. But yeah, I think yeah, that's very big to kind of just remember that like it's fine, like you're kind of just being you're
Yeah.
kind of just being um
And it's
whenever
not that I beat
whenever
myself.
Hmm?
It's not that I beat myself up over it. It's just that like I'm aware of it, and it sucks.
Yeah,
Like I'm slowly doing it.
yeah, because what I've noticed is like fuck, like I just quote the dude Ramdas, right, like he talks about like he'll be like when people are like, yo, I want to start meditating, I want to get onto the spiritual path, and then he senses that person is still attachment to worldly, still being attached to worldly things. He'll be like, no, 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 don't go on that yet. Don't feel like you have to get on that yet. Go finish, go have more sex, go smoke more, go enjoy more, go indulge more. When it's done, you'll feel it be done. A caterpillar is done, doesn't like a caterpillar has to finish being a caterpillar because before they transform and become the butterfly. And it's the same thing for us. It's like when you're done, you'll know you're done. Like I'm at a certain point now, especially with like YouTube and stuff, where um like I get on and I can't. I'll scroll, and most of my time is spent scrolling,
Wow.
trying to find something. It's all like I've seen it all, and it stops being it's not as interesting anymore. Um, like I when it comes to like entertainment shit, like I don't find it that compelling that much anymore. Like I haven't yesterday's the only time where I actually watched like I was watching Archer and I watched like 5 maybe 6 episodes. But like when I and I was like and then I was like yeah, that was trash. But like I actually enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it. It's a funny show. Like I still enjoy watching it. Um, but that's the thing. If I feel compelled to do it, I'll do it. And I don't want to get too strict with myself where it's like, no, don't watch don't watch Archer. It's
Right.
not what you're
Then you're always
supposed to be
just moving
doing.
on.
Yeah, and it's just you thinking and being that rigid with yourself just shows how attached you are to it. If you're not attached to it, you'll just do it and that's it. You did it. It's cool. It's done. But if you're doing it and then after you do it, you're like, oh, that was so bad, blah, blah, blah. Oh man, you're so trash. Then you're attached to it still. And
This
it's
is a
only
tricky game.
yeah, it gets so subtle. So as a rule of thumb, what I'll do is just doing mantra is entertaining in itself to a certain point. So especially when I'm on FaceTime, that's usually when I allow myself to indulge because we'll wanna like Allah will wanna watch stuff. So then to me, that time is spent as as soon as going into the call to have to talk to her, I'm seeing it as like, okay, this is me with a teacher.
Mm.
This is me with Allah, but behind Allah, I know it's God, and it's God and drag, and every moment is just me spending time with her as both service to herself, but both service to myself, because I get to spend time with God, with someone who I really appreciate. So when we're indulging, as long as I keep doing the mantra and don't get lost, I can enjoy doing it and I can see how it's a teaching. I can see how every time I'm starting to get caught and I'm starting to fall, I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
this
you're
is
really just like watching yourself.
I'm watching myself do everything. Yeah. Sometimes I fall. Sometimes I completely get lost. But it's been a great change.
Mm.
But yeah, overall, if I don't when I'm done doing those things, when I'm done reading or whatever, I'll just I'll do music. The thing I'm doing, making instrumentals with people, has been pretty helpful because I'm not like I'm just doing it for people. So I guess it becomes part of the work itself also.
Right. Service.
Yeah, service. So
Service.
that's been helping. But that's what I mean
How's,
by
how's the fasting going?
oh,
Like,
like
light, huh?
yeah. Especially that I've been waking up pretty late, so it's not that challenging,
Mm.
but uh it helps, bro.
One meal, or how many meals do you have?
I can't do more than one meal. After the meal, I'm like, especially that I eat like exactly at the time that they eat, like the Muslims eat, when they break fast, which is like roughly
I think they
between.
eat twice, no?
They can eat however they want until 4.
Okay.
They're encouraged to keep eating until 4. Because like Allah's mom will come in her room and be like, "Why haven't you eaten? You should eat. It's almost gonna be 4." Blah blah blah. So
That's
I
such
guess
a
they have to.
program.
Um, no, there's probably reasons why. There's probably logical reasons why. It's just people get dogmatic about it.
That's what I'm saying, program.
Yeah.
I was watching I sent you the Tim Schaaf video on London Real.
Oh, I
He
haven't
said
watched that.
I haven't watched the full thing either, but he fasted. He initially wanted to fast for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, nah, this feels amazing. Just keep going. I'll go
You feel
21.
so light, like you're
So light. And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, there was one day in the week where I felt so subtle. I felt very subtle, like, and just like it's bliss. Like just watching yourself watch yourself, and there's nothing you're holding on to. It's just like, whoa, I just thought that. Whoa, it's just like looking left and right. Like
Yeah,
he was saying that
awesome.
it's very, very healing. Like, because your body kind of just like you have to digest, and digestion is like it takes up 1/3 of your actual energy that you eat from the food.
And especially the types of food you eat, right? Because if you're gonna eat, the yogis will recommend eating light foods that are made to help you.
And
like-
easy to digest.
Yeah,
Because some
but-
of the stuff we eat is sugars and like very refined. It stays in
very
there.
very processed and like
It stays in there until
yeah,
you actually get rid of it all.
your body
So-
needs extra time.
And a fast is actually a really good way to do that because you don't have to like cleanse. Your body just knows.
I understand now why people would eat once a day. I'm actually thinking like I want to
It's so much
implement.
more practical, bro. It's
I want to implement this schedule because like
yeah.
I find it's not that difficult for me to eat once a day. Like when I'm done eating, I'm like I'm done. Like I don't get hungry again for the rest of the day. Like I'll usually eat
Hungry
enough.
when I have more meals actually.
Yeah. What I'm thinking though is that I don't have enough time to drink water, especially me breaking fast at 8. By the time I have to go to sleep, like I have to make sure I drink like because I'm trying
You
to
don't
drink.
drink water.
Hmm?
You don't drink water either.
No, I don't
I've
drink
been-
water. Oh,
I've
no,
been-
no.
I'm gonna lay off water once a week. How's that been? The no water.
It's the same. Like it's just as long as you drink enough water when you break your fast, you're fine. So I'll make sure I have a big. You saw the vase on the archives. Like I have a big ass vase plus another bottle that I fill up, and then I just take a glass and I fill it up and I drink, and then bro, it's just been back and forth in the toilet, bro. It's fucking annoying to drink so
Yeah.
much at once. Let me see if I can find. Bro, this is such a high book, bro. Dude, I love this guy so much. So much. He's literally like the one teacher I have. Like the one teacher, like teacher I have. Like everyone else had to see the teacher in them, but like he knows, like he understands, and it's so cool. Anyways, let's see what I can find. Let's see what I can find. So many notes. Oh, it's all so high. Let's see what this is. One first of all keeps working on himself to become a higher and higher rate of vibration. In other words, a peaceful man is the first criterion if you want to have a peaceful universe. You start with the universe you've got, which is your own being. And if you're angry, you can't get angry about peace because all you're creating is more anger in the world rather than more peace. So whatever you're going to do, you've got to do it peacefully. In other words, you've got to do with peace in your heart. If it has anything to do with peace, you've got to do it with peace in your heart. Yeah, that's cool. It's nothing crazy though. That's cool, but that's not gonna be high. Um, hold up.
Have you
There's
been
one.
using medicine?
No, I'm fully off everything. I'm trying to practice sexual continence. What else? Uh, so not doing like I haven't smoked since I started Ramadan. Like I'm following it the way they do it
Mm.
traditionally. So marijuana is an intoxicant, so I can't do it during Ramadan. So I'm not gonna do it. Um, when it's done, I'll do a trip. I'll trip and see how high I got from the practice. What is this? You've got to. I'm just reading off quotes. I don't know. Before we end, I don't know. Fuck it.
Yeah,
We're just
like
hanging.
I've gotten so boring, bro. Like
We're
not
just
having to go
we're just
outside.
hanging out, bro. I have nothing to say. My days are all the same. Oh, one thing I'll notice is when you indulge, which I've bro. If one thing this has taught me is I understand why niggas will feel the need to go to a whole ass monastery and give up everything and just spend their entire 1 year to 10 years at a place that is dedicated to doing that. Because what I realize in my meditation, especially the night ones, is a lot of the thoughts that will come up will have to do with what happened in the day and my interactions with people and the feelings I've felt. And that can, that's more thoughts that you need to let run off and waves you need to let like go and before your mind actually calms down. So that the more disruptive my day was, the more longer it takes before my mind actually gets to that state of calm in the meditation where it's like, okay, now I can like fully be focused on the breath and let the thoughts go out. And it gets so annoying because when you understand that the goal is like, it's the one pointedness, when you get so many thoughts coming in, you're so like rigid. You like pushing him away. You're like, don't. I'm trying to focus. Like, leave me alone. I'm trying to focus. But it's not the point. You're supposed to just let him run off and observe him and be like, oh, that too. Okay, and this thought too. And the more involved and indulged you are in the outside world, the more in your meditations those things will come up, which I guess is what karma is, right? I did this today. I did that today.
That too, like the environment is a huge. Like,
Oh yeah.
being in a place where everyone is practicing, like your development is gonna excel at a faster rate.
I guess that's what the goal of satsang is. To you have people around you doing that, and you guys can just you can keep yourselves in check while you're doing it. What is this? Oh yeah, he talks about chakras, which is very important. A chakra chart tells in a way where the energy is fixed or localized in a person where it's stuck. For most people in the Western universe, in fact, most people in the world, all of the energy is located either in the first, second, or third chakra. First is like security, bare bones, survival instinct. Second is sexual. Third is power. The first chakra, he fucking defines them. The first chakra can be characterized crudely as being connected with survival and survival of the individual as a separate being. It's like we're in the jungle. Yeah. It's like we're in the jungle and there's one piece of meat and who's going to get it, you or me? Survival of the fittest type model. It's Darwinian assumption of the motivations of beings. When you're at that chakra, your motivation is to protect yourself as a separate being, your separateness. You can think of that as the darkest Africa. See, you've got to get your security under control, and now you start to go into sensual gratification and sexual desires and reproduction. You can't be busy reproducing if you're protecting your life. But the minute your life's protected a little bit, then you can start concern yourself with the next matter, which is reproducing the species. So the second chakra is primarily concerned with sexual actions, reactions, and so on at the reproduction level. Procreative sex. The third chakra is like the Wall Street in Washington and London. It's primarily connected with power, with mastery, with ego control. Most of the world that we think of is connected with those particular centers. All the energy is located there. People justify their lives in terms of reproduction or sexual gratification, sensual gratification, or power or mastery. And it's interesting that pretty much any act we know of in the Western world can be done in the service of any one of those energies. So we're only...
You can't reach the heart until you figure out all of those three.
He talks also. It's like a nice 2 pages,
And
but he
the
breaks down.
interesting thing right now is like, if you look at the news and all this, like the
Oh,
vaccine
bro.
example, that's
Yeah.
exactly what this is taking advantage of. People are believing like, wow, I need to survive. Like, I need to buy a mask. I can't go out. Like, people are in fear.
The biggest thing he says is like we get so lost in like believing that like I need to eat. I need to buy this thing. I need this ice cream. I need this shirt. Like we become so in service of our needs. But
Mm,
he says try to do this exercise and practice noticing that by the time you satisfy this one need, it seems as if there's a whole nother one ready by the time you're done.
mm.
So you're just jumping from tightness and then letting go. Tightness, letting go. Tightness, letting go. Tightness, letting go. With no break. You know, it's like working out, but constantly just doing reps, reps,
Mm.
reps, reps, reps. Your muscle are fucking
Workout. There's
broken.
no
Yeah,
working.
it's
Yeah.
a workout with no break. So
Yeah.
you're just constantly just going from this to that, from this to that, from this to that, and
And you're just destroying. Like, that doesn't help your immune system
I
either.
mean, why do you think so many people are having so many crises in their lives where they're
Yeah.
so unsatisfied all the time? And what do? They go back to forgetting about it through drinking, smoking, and like because marijuana. That podcast was cool. I didn't finish it. I'm gonna finish it. It's just like he allows me to take breaks, so I take breaks.
Mm.
Um, but well. First, he talks about the type that you're smoking can be very
Yeah.
can affect you a lot. So if it's grown
In the sun.
in an environment, well, if it's grown in the sun, it's better than if it's grown like indoors with artificial lighting and artificial just in an
Yeah.
artificial environment, and that's why the paranoia gets transferred to you.
Mhm.
The same way an animal, the way the animal is killed, the feelings they feel, it stays
Yeah.
in it, and when you take it, you just take in all of the fear and adrenaline and negative energies the animal felt before they died. And it's possible to eat it. I mean, if you're high enough, you can transmute that energy and not get brought down by it. And same way you can also kill an animal to eat it in a way that's
Right.
very loving, and you make
Sacred.
sure, or you
Yeah.
wait until the animal dies and you eat it naturally, right?
Mhm.
Um, but the thing is, when it's the same with factories, with like meat factories where
Right.
the pigs are caged and they can't move, blah blah, and you eat
That's
it.
interesting. It's like even the cannabis industry is becoming like that. It's
Because
moving
it's
towards that.
because it's
And I didn't
serving
I
it's
didn't think
serving
that
third
existed.
chakra energies where it's like more money, more power, more sales, profit, 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 not quality, quantity, more
Yeah.
profit. So it really affects. Anyways, he's gonna talk about here um what happens when you start to move the energy up. It's like a nice 2 to 4 pages, so bear with me here.
You're gonna read 2 to 4 pages?
Probably.
Okay, I'm gonna go pee.
You have
I
to pee?
hold this
Okay,
in.
we'll take a break here, guys.
Okay.
Nigga, just go. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm black.
Welcome back. How was your piss?
It was
It was pissing. You're pissed now. As I said earlier, there are 7 chakras or focal points, and the transition from the third to the fourth is the first one into the transcendent state. Is the first one into the state of compassion. That is where one experiences the shifts over figure ground relationships so that one sees that you and I are human beings behind not only blue suitedness or dark suitedness or white shirtedness, but also behind personalities and ages and bodies. And there's a place where although we still see each other as separate, we're experiencing a feeling of unitive nature with one another. The fifth chakra. Oh, wait, what? Okay, that's the fourth chakra where you start to feel compassion. The fifth chakra is where you turn inward. And rather than seeing the outward manifestation, you start to go deeper within, or deeper up, as you might call it, and become preoccupied with higher planes of light or energy or forms of it all, which are more and more subtle states of differences and similarities. It's as if we come into the place where we are energy and where we are cellular formations. It's sort of different planes of perceptual organization of the universe. You could put it that way, what these planes are about. The sixth chakra is very comparable to what's called the causal plane, which is the plane where when one has broken sufficient attachments to any one perspective so that you can stand back sufficiently far to gain what could be called cosmic perspective, to begin to see the most basic laws of the universe in operation everywhere in the universe. It's very much what the Egyptians were concerned with. It's what Plato's Pure Ideas is about. That is sixth chakra. That's what we call wisdom. I'm compressing it. The seventh chakra, the top chakra, is a chakra where you merge back into the oceanic, into the one, totally. That's one on top of the head. If you would look, for example, at the cyclic process of the ocean, mist rising off the ocean, forming clouds. Clouds have raindrops. Raindrops fall into the ocean. Ocean is made up of raindrops, but it's the ocean, and it's ocean in this in the sense of oneness. Each raindrop does not retain its individuality as a raindrop any longer. And as you can see, this is merely process. The seventh chakra is the ocean. It's where it all goes back into one. It's behind all the laws and ideas. And I guess that's what samadhi would be. Um, so basically, as you work up and you get past every chakra, and you go finally into the seventh. A lot of people will tend to want to stay in the seventh, but what he says is, there's a point when oh yeah, you get attached to one particular center at a time. But when you're done working through all of them, your job is to stay at all of them all at once, and to live through all 7 chakras at the same time. That's like the goal, essentially. And it's very subtle because like you don't really feel shit moving up that much. I've been feeling more compassion, which is very crazy because I don't think I've been that much compassionate my entire life. So like to see when people are like watching, even if I'm watching videos or when people are talking to me, like I actually kind of do feel more like, you know what I mean? Like you're more interested in people's melodramas. And I guess the
Your
goal,
body there being more.
yeah,
more
like you kind of
really-
feel more what someone else could be feeling when they're telling you whatever is going on. Like I feel more for people, and I feel more. I guess it's just, yeah, through the calming of mind, your sense of separateness dies a bit more, so you feel more united with people. So when people bring up stuff, you kind of understand more what they're talking about, from a sense of like, hey, piece of me, you know. um, yeah. So that's chakras. I don't know if there's more. I don't know.
more chakras.
Just fucking. Oh no, probably.
There's like 113.
Chill out.
total.
Chill out, nigga.
Each one has like each chakra has 7 like within those, and it's like infinitely fucking. That's what I've heard on Paul checks.
I don't know about that, nigga. That's a lot. That's a lot, bro.
It is.
There's the one about suicide was very interesting. That was very interesting because, like, you know, when it comes to people, especially when people come to you with their problems, like when people vent to you, it's very hard to actually understand how to help them in those situations, because since you're outside of it, you're trying to help from being outside the place that they're in.
You're
So
imposing your own solution onto their problem.
exactly, and you're not really approaching it from their perspective. You're approaching it from your perspective of what you think works from the point that you're sitting at. I think the game is to actually go into it with that person, which is where compassion comes in. Where when someone feels sadness, your job is to go into that sadness with them, all while staying outside of it and understanding that it's just melodrama
It's
and
so
being
hard to
able,
do. Like when I
right?
heard Ramdas talk when he was like, I don't remember which one, but he was literally like, the guy was sad, and he was just sad with him. He's like, oh man, that sucks.
And he was feeling it too. He's not saying that to be nice. Like he feels that sadness too.
He's not like, oh man, that's all right. Like it's all okay. No, no, no. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that sucks.
Because we tend to go straight to like, bro, it's fine. You're just angry or you're just sad, and it's fine. It's gonna be fine. And we're like, we give a solution. We're like, try not to think about it, or try to meditate, or try to blah blah blah. But the person is in that emotional state, and they cannot be communicated with unless you go into that frequency with them and communicate from there, right? So,
Resonance.
he was talking about compassion without pity. That's what the section is called. That's the thing. You're not supposed to pity the person. You're supposed to feel compassion for them. There's a thin line between both, and I still don't fully understand where that line is and how to get to the side of compassion. But I guess as you work on yourself, it automatically happens.
Yeah, subtle.
Um, so he talks about being an LSD guide. And generally, what I deal with is I go immediately into the place where I feel compassion for the predicament, but no pity, and I don't get caught in the symbiotic role to the dance they're presenting to me. I center. That's what I do on myself, so that somebody calls up and says, "This is horrible. I'm going to commit suicide." I say, "Well, don't let me keep you. If you
Ethel.
got to do that, you do whatever you need to do. But I just want you to know I'm here if you want to hang out for a while before you commit suicide. Since you're going to do it anyway, you know what you've got to do. But if you just like to hang out, here we are." And I always am right here. A girl calls me in the middle of the night and says, "I've taken LSD and my mind is falling apart," and she's crying hysterically. She calls from California to New York. And I say, "Well, who called me?" She
Mhm.
says, "Well, I did." I say, "Well, who dialed the number?" She says, "I did." Well, I say, "Would you put whoever that dialed the number on? Because whoever dialed the 7 digits plus an area code in the middle of the night to find me, that person I can talk to. You're a raving maniac." So you understand, like, if you're going through that mode and you're sane enough to dial a 7 digit number plus an area code to call someone, then there's that part of you that called it is still sane. And basically what he's
Mhm.
saying is, I want to talk to the you who called instead of the you on top of that who's going, "Oh, this is all blah blah blah." But it's so like, how do you do that? You know, how do you apply that in a moment where it just like I can read this and be like, "Oh, that's so interesting," and understand it. But
Mhm.
when you're in a situation where someone comes to you and they're like, "Man, everything is shit," or "I'm very angry about this thing," and you're not angry and you're not in that state, like, how do you get yourself to a point where it's not logical?
Well, it's practice. Like you have to realize he's probably done it for so many people. Like he works as a psychiatrist or a
And also he's so realized also, like, at this point
Mhm.
he's so calm, right, that he understands. Like, yeah,
I had this talk with Paloma yesterday. It's like, where's the line between intuition and logic?
right.
It's
That's
like
what I was gonna say.
they're
Like, it's like
both like kind of intertwined
I
because
don't think that game
him,
is logic at all. I think it's very intuitive.
but intuition is logic, and this is where I was like, maybe it is because it's like with her astrology readings, right? It's like when she's reading it to you, it's like, wow, how do you know this? Like, how is it so accurate? But to her, it's like she's been studying it for years, right?
Mhm.
So she can kind of pull that information out instantly. And it's almost like your intuition uses the logic that you've accumulated to pick and choose the exact information that is required for this moment. And what's interesting is
Hmm.
that your intellect actually gets in the way of that. Your logic, again, will get in the way of that and say, there's other options.
Does this make sense?
Mhm.
Does this make sense? It'll say.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
yeah.
it's like,
Well, um, I think the thing about intuition is it's directly connected to the formless, wordless unity of everything, to God's plan, you could say, to the deterministic aspect of everything, right?
Interesting you bring that up. Did you listen to the audio clip I sent on the group chat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one with Paul Check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was trippy. Did you try it? The exercise?
no, but isn't it the hemispheres like the
Yeah. So he goes like this, right? So I guess we'll show the people.
like this?
He goes like this,
Oh,
and
you
then
don't touch it?
you don't touch it. So hum a novel tune. Make something up. Right. Now, I don't know if you
3, 6, 9, 12,
count from
15,
degrees.
18,
3.
21, 24, 27, 30. What am I supposed to notice?
So there's activity in your body when so right brain is creative, right? And left brain is logic.
Mm-hmm.
So when your ego is talking, which is logic and your rational mind, your left hemisphere is supposed to activate. So it's like 3, 6, 9. That's using math. So I kind of feel like a subtle vibration on the left side.
I felt it on the right when I was humming.
Me too, yeah. Because your right brain is your creative brain. It's
Can you send that link when you're done?
it's basically your intuition. So when you're creating something from nothing, it's like you can feel. It's basically a tool to know which part of your brain is speaking, either your ego or your higher self. And that tripped the shit out of me. Wow, it's right here for me to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing with intuition, right? It's like the reason why they both work together, intuition and like rational and like the rational logical mind, is because the logical mind is what translates the wordless wordless formless shit that your intuition is aware of. And that's why you need to understand how to that's why you need to understand how to communicate, right? Like the reason why the Aikido story that Ramdas tells so much, like he's after that story he says, do you there's nothing that goes in that old man's head that says, hey, this man is angry, I should do something about this, let me say hey joyously. He doesn't think, what is the best thing I could do to disarm the situation? Just like the guy was doing when he was like, okay, let me use my Aikido practice and dismantle this man, right? He goes, he's so in tune and it's so intuitive that he doesn't have to think about what to do. It just comes, and as soon as it comes, hey, like he doesn't think, hey, I should say hey joyously. And that's the thing with intuition, that's the thing with compassion, and that's the thing with what he's saying, and the thing of the person saying they're going to kill themselves and I don't want to hold, like that's just the appropriate answer that intuitively feels right in that moment. He doesn't go, what's the best thing I could say for this person right now, blah blah blah, because the more you are in tune with everything, the more naturally everything will flow out and the best everything will actually be. So sometimes when something's going wrong and like let's say a negative interaction with someone, and you sit in meditation, sometimes you'll actually realize what like that situation could have went like, and the best things you could have said, because then you're so connected with intuition, you see how best the thing could have went, or how best the thing could be dismantled from where you are now. Like that happens to me a lot right now, where it's like when I sit down, I can feel some intuitive things come up where it's like, oh, that's what I should say. And I'll get out of meditation and I'll text the thing I really was thinking, what's the best thing I could say? And then it'll come up while I'm meditating. And then you just, because you're so connected to your subconscious, which is connected with the everything, right? So the more connected you are with everything, the more connected you are with the person coming to you with the problem in the first place. So you're directly where they are, and you know exactly how to get them out of where they are because you're connected with it in the first place. And that's what gurus do. That's why gurus don't even need to fucking speak to you. Like that's why realized beings don't even need to speak to you. A touch, a look in the eyes is good enough because they're there. And it's just a game of surrender. And I think the thing is we put logic first, and then intuition second, but logic is just used to translate intuition.
Mm.
So if you're just putting logic first, then you're just kind of lost and you're just constantly trying to find shit, you know? And
But
it's funny because
it's a tricky game because like when you come to this world, it's like you 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 have to survive, and it's like you have to learn, and your ego gets developed because like no one wants to get bitten by the same snake twice, right? It's like you get hit, you're gonna build a defense mechanism using logic and your rational mind and everything.
yeah.
So it's always in the way. It's like it's the unlearning that's the hardest part.
You know what's cool though?
Getting taught.
Like taking understanding that you consciously chose to have a human birth because you had some karma to finish with
Yeah.
from the previous existence, whether it was from another plane and you had so much karma from that plane that you need to go back into being into the physical to like it's almost as if we were astral beings and created causal beings created universes so that they could work out some karma in the physical world so that they could go like this could get so far out.
Speaking of which, have you watched Midnight's Gospel?
Yeah, I haven't finished the last episode.
Okay, that's exactly what it is. He's like the way he made that cartoon, bro. Is crazy because that's
like
exactly
you know that could be what's going on. We're just normal beings in a completely different plane, and we just have a machine that helps us learn shit by going into the machine and like taking on a birth. Because that's what he does. He's in a completely different plane. He enters the machine, which is virtual reality, and then he goes and then he learns something.
Yeah.
Takes on a body, takes on an avatar. Like, come on, like that's definitely inspired based off like the plant medicines he's done and the teachings. Because I've seen a picture of him and he has a mantra, so I know he's on the path.
Mm-hmm.
He has a mala. I saw it in one of the clips from the Joe Rogan episode. It's so cool seeing that. I'm like, hey, it's that song. I'm like, hey, me too.
He learned directly from Ram Dass, I think. He went to the retreats and everything.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And there's this one time when he was interviewing Ram Dass, and he was like, he was just asking questions. So he's like, what are we gonna do when you're gone? And Ram Dass is like, boo fucking who? Like, fine, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, but everything's beautiful, bro. How that all unfolded. I mean, like, how did I get into reading Steve Jobs is what got me into it. Because Ram Dass Be Here Now got brought up in Steve Jobs' biography because it's a big book that Steve Jobs read during his like formative 20s before he started Apple, before he went to India and started Apple after he read Be Here Now. Because he was very into it was the 60s, like 60s, 70s, like hippie era, because everyone was onto that. Lots of LSD trips and like meditations, and he had a meditation room, and he'd read Be Here Now. He read Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. He read Autobiography of a Yogi, which is the book he gave as a gift at his funeral, last parting gift, I guess. So that's what actually turned me on to all of this, because when I saw it, I was like, oh man, because we were getting into spirituality at that time, especially I was doing a fucking shit ton of acid, and I really wanted to get fucking hold of that space, right? And then reading that book, and then I started seeing Ram Dass's lectures and getting into it.
He did the exact same thing. He's like,
right?
And you're like, fuck, it doesn't. I guess I can't hold on to it.
and it's like, I guess, and then reading it, and then listening to his lectures and seeing that he had the same thing where he was trying to hold on to it to the point where 6 years he was doing psychedelics experiments, doing 400 micrograms every 4 hours for 2-3 weeks, trying to stay there, and still coming down to the point where he was so despaired that he just went to India, and then the crazy thing is, he says after the guru story when he meets Maharaji that Maharaji had sent out the guy to go get Ram Dass. So it's almost as Maharaji, since Ram Dass's acid thing was leading up to him meeting Maharaji knew it. Like, how far out do you want to get with this shit? Like, how actually subtle do you want to get? So I could see it the same way, as if this is just a big energy working, and I'm being led to something right now, and I'm being led to someone, to some place, and it's all just the process of me getting there. It's all God's plan. Because what are the odds I get into Steve Jobs? What are the odds I read enough about him? What are the odds that seeing the book triggers something in me to want to read the book? Some people will just read it and they'll be like, all right, cool. He's a cool guy, I guess. He was into meditation.
Apple, right?
Right?
Some
And
more.
then I go I was trying to get Being Hound for the longest time. Remember? For the longest time. I would always go by and not buy it and look at it and be like, oh, it's so cool. And it looks so cool. It's the book, man. I never knew the cookbook part from the whole time I was looking at it and like thinking of school, I was only looking at the brown part. And I never knew about the cookbook for Sacred Life part until I got the book. When I came back from my cruise, I had read A New Earth, which really turned me on. Eckhart Tolle's book, because that talks about presence and all of that. And that cruise. What are the odds my mom goes on a cruise and then I get to read this book and then I come back and I finally be here now and I see there's a whole last section if I want to really turn onto the path. I can get onto the path leading to where the fuck I am now. You know? Like, what the fuck? What are the odds?
Perfect.
Like, it's all leading and everything is just God giving you the required stimulus that you need for the next thing that's coming. So
and the thing is, you put yourself here. You made the agreement to take a human form. And
you
apparently,
can, yeah.
parents, there's a theory there in the Tibetan and Buddhist
What is it?
philosophy. Like, you basically choose exactly the parents you want to be born into. So you, like, they shape the environment of your growth, right?
Contracts.
So, yeah, that's the contract you agreed to.
Yeah. In the Yoga of Relationships episode, he talks about that. It's like me and you, we had a contract before we came here. Me and Tim had a contract before we came here. Me and Allah had a contract before we came here. Me and my dad, my mom, my sister all had a contract when we came here because they're the people I needed and I'm the person they needed to deal with whatever karma they have going on that they need to deal with. So we're just helping each other out with our own karma, and we needed this relationship because we realized what was especially with friends, like the fact that we clicked so easily, and there's other people that you want to connect with them that much, and you can't even if you try.
Yeah.
Right. And for me and Tim, it was just like it wasn't like I was willingly going, "Hey, I want to be this guy's friend." We just talked, and then we clicked. You was this guy looks nice, and every time I saw you there was like kind of a pull. Like every time I would see you there's kind of a pull based on how you, I guess, your demeanor, maybe it was the energy being put out. To me, outside from my perspective, was your outfits. I was like, this guy looks very cool, looks very like chill, blah, he looks very tight, I like his fits. I should tell him one day that I really like his fits. And I tell you, and you could have been like, thanks, and like being very weirded out by it, but nah, you reciprocated. And then now we were a year and a half into a podcast, bro. Like, like make that make sense.
And another crazy thing is like the astrology bit of it that like I've been kind of like very scratching the surface. It's like,
oh, bro, it's so it's such a big game.
You chose the birth time and place to the minute, so you can
the alignment of the planets,
psychology to be this, and this is exactly what you need to get through this journey with the people around you with
every
this
passion,
temperament.
Every passion, every skill, every talent was all chosen. The time of place, the way the planets would be aligned were all things you needed to go to fulfill the karma you needed to fulfill so that you could go into the next. If you don't fulfill it this round, you'll have to come back so that you can finish it. That's why suicide is the thing, because unless it's Mahasamadhi, which is when you're done, there's no more karma, there's no more thing left for you to do. So you're like, all right, peace, I'm going to the next one. I'm going to the next level. Peace out. Yeah. Until then, there's no way for you to actually stop this. You're going to kill yourself because you can't handle it. You're going to have to come back because you're going to have to deal with all of the karma you left behind. So killing yourself only lengthens the process because it just adds more births.
Well, technically, it's all part of the plan too. It's like
you were always going. You were always. You were always going to kill yourself, and that was what was needed. So that's how far out you can get with this game. He talks about like child development and how a lot, like 25% of it can be systematized and predicted, or maybe like a majority of it is chance and really shit you can't predict or control. And he's like, that leaves so much space for all of this determinism god shit, right? Because like there's so much you can control and predict about people's behaviors, right? There's a lot of that's, and that's the thing, that's the limit of the rational mind. That's the limit of the city that we have, which is really just what it is. We've developed a city which is rational mind, and it's so tasty and powerful and strong that we just haven't tried to see and understand that there could be something beyond that. There could be something where I could fucking materialize something in my hand right now just from my own will and my own willingness to do it. But right now, I'm just focused on my process because it's getting me high. So the method is good if it's getting me high. Until it doesn't get me high anymore, I have to find the next method. But for now, it's working. It's going great. Um,
Chose a good method.
I got the Quran from Allah. When I'm done the Bible, I'm gonna read that, bro. Literally anything that gets me high. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck, bro. Anything that gets me, like I'm a fucking drug addict right now with methods. So because I want the high that lasts. Um, but I understand that I need to not want the high to get the high.
I was thinking actually, this would be the perfect time to go on a really long fast.
Really long fast, really long meditations.
Yeah.
I'm thinking uh maybe today
But
or
I'm
like
thinking like
tomorrow.
fast, like specifically.
I'm thinking take it a step further and fast and meditate for a very long period of time. And I mean like what would he do? What would, oh yeah, he would like shut himself in a room, dark room, 3 hours. When they accepted him into the temple when he first met Maharaji, that was his training. They gave him a teacher who would come in. First of all, the teacher doesn't speak. He took a vow of silence. He'd been silent for 15 years. Nigga only drinks 2 glasses of milk a day for 15 years.
Archie, right?
No, that's not Maharaji. No. That's like Ramdas's teacher when he went to India the first time. Appointed him a teacher, vow of silence. So the teacher only gives him teachings through a fucking chalkboard, and the teachings are just quotes like desire is suffering, desirelessness is moksha or liberation, desire it creates the universe, desire is the destroyer, shit like that. That's the teaching, and then he's gone for the day. What else happens? He only leaves the room to eat, and then he sleeps. And then after that, it's asanas, pranayama. He'll go shower like outside, taking it's cold. Like he goes to shower like in the lake while it's cold, walks barefoot in the snow. Um, Goes to shower morning. Let's say he wakes up, showers, eats, doesn't even eat, showers, pranayama, asanas, and then meditating for like. He was talking about some shit where he meditated from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. So what I'm saying is if you really want to go deep and you want to actually lengthen the fast, I think you should add on to it by not only fasting but also sitting for as long as you can. And I'm not necessarily saying forcing yourself to sit. I'm saying when you can't do it anymore, when you get out of your sit, let's say you do 30 minutes, you spend 5 minutes just walking around in your room or just sitting there or doing asanas so you can go back, or prana, like you just sit or you read something and you're sitting in a room, in a dark room, and you're going back and forth between sitting and then stepping out so your muscles get a break, going back into sitting, going back. I did that once for 4 hours and it was wild. It was crazy. Like I wasn't necessarily fully, because I was going back and forth between texting and like being on my phone, but very shortly I was just texting. I wasn't like going on social media. So I was sitting, I think from 2 or 4 till 7 or 8.
Jesus.
And I was going in and out of meditating and then being out and then coming out and then just walking around and doing nothing and sitting in the dark, going back into meditating, getting out, going back, out and out and out and out and it really calms you, bro. It's really nice. but I want to do that like more often. Like I'm really just using this time to be as good as I can so that I can go back into the world and be as conscious as I can back into the world. Because ideally, until you're liberated, um, you should have periods of being in the outer world, but then being moments where you can go inside too. So what Ram Das would do is when he first came back from India, gave a series of teachings and talks from what he learned, and then after a few, like you could say a tour, after the tour, same as an artist who goes 4 years into hiatus to make their album, comes out, tours, puts out the album, does interviews, goes back into their hiatus, makes a new album, lives life, comes back, puts out a new album, does that over a few years. Same thing he does. He'll learn from his teacher, go deep, very very full time though, like it's like that's what his day consists of, trying to get as conscious as he can, comes out, gives some talks based on what he's learned from his time inside, and then after he's done that, helps like handles his business, and then when it's time again, goes back to his cabin and then spends like a week to a month there and just meditates and sits inside so you don't get caught, right? Because what we're trying to do is the bodhisattva um path, which is, I mean, I assume that's what you're trying to do, is we're trying to liberate ourselves, but also so we can liberate others. We're trying to like do it. We're trying to help. We're not just trying to get ourselves free and then that's it and then we're done. We're trying to get ourselves free so that we can help others get free. Correct? So if you do that and you keep getting caught, then you're just not really achieving anything. Which is why when you do go into the moments of training, you need to go fully in for a period enough of time so that when you go out, you can be from that space as much as you can and be aware of when you're getting caught again so that you can go back inside and you could go back and forth until you're free enough that you can just be out. Until you feel you're realized, until you're enlightened, basically. Which you're not guaranteed that's going to happen this lifetime. So
Even if you do,
there's more work to do. Chop wood, carry water.
it's a good way to end it, I think.
Oh yeah.
How long are we going? An hour and 17 minutes.
Oh, that's not man.
It's pretty average.
Yeah. I'll put this up as a bonus. This is not season 2. Season 2 is when we're out. Cause I'm gonna. Yeah. What's cool though? Man, that's so cool, man. I love the way the universe works, bro. I was trying to get money for so long, and this is the most money I've had in my account in my entire life. This is the most money I've ever owned.
And you haven't been working.
And now my teacher, the teacher within my mom, is showing me how I can multiply this money because she's been going crazy. Today she made $330 just this morning. She bought a phone for $175. She just sold it for $230. The same guy bought the phone, wanted a TV, and we bought a new TV, so the old one, and she was trying to sell it. Sold it to him for $100. Like, bro, and now it's just like putting me on to how to actually do this flipping shit properly. So with the money I have, I'm gonna take a chunk and I'm gonna see if I can multiply it. I'm just gonna go through trials of trying to sell shit. So then right now there's a bunch of shit that bro, I'm learning so much from her, bro, of how to do this whole shit. Because even while we're quarantined, she's making a shit ton of money. She's made so much money in the past 2 weeks. So much, bro. But anyways, yeah. So now my desires for money are being answered. And now I need to know what to do with the money because I've been desiring it, but I don't know if I really had a plan or the knowledge to know what to do with it. So I'm just sitting it. I'm just putting in my savings as I figure out what am I to do with this money. There are so many options. So now I need to know. Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. No desire goes unfulfilled. Not a single one. Not a single one. If it's 5 lifetimes from now, not a single one. Bro, not a single one.
Rest assured, you can go to sleep.
It may not manifest how you want, but it'll manifest. Anyways, thanks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, people are gonna be watching this. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
And
Don't kill yourself. Or do, like, I don't know. You know what's best for yourself. I don't know. How long do you think this is gonna last? How much long? Yeah, how much long? Cause Quebec and Gatineau and Ottawa are reopening some places, right?
yeah,
So
certain shops. Yeah, it's like borderline mandatory, like gardens and stuff like that.
hmm.
And I heard either Manitoba or Saskatchewan, they're opening up pretty soon.
So I guess it's slowing down some places.
Yeah, I hope by June, like
Yeah, I wanna have a summer, bro. Like fuck.
I think by July it'll be back to normal. That's hopeful. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
But even then, with all like, if you actually look at all the conspiracies that are like the conspiracy theories, then not so hopeful. But
Yeah.
that's up to you to decide.
Yeah. I think the point is we don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let me know when you're gonna do the fast.
The 7 days.
Oh, you go through 7 days?
What fast did you mean?
Oh no.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I could try.
What did you mean when you asked me though?
Oh, I thought you meant like a long, like 3 day. Oh fuck,
Oh
7 days.
no.
Food
Yeah.
is so good though. Mm.
See, that's man. Like I could do one meal a day. I definitely, but I want to taste food.
Oh, food
Like,
is
I
so
want that
good.
morning coffee with like butter and like.
Like I'm still so like, I'm still so attached to it. I could, bro. 1 meal a day is fine.
It's.
But oh, bro,
Fine.
7 days. Oh,
I think. Well, the thing is like, this is the only opportunity we'll have. We're not
yeah.
working. We don't have any.
My mom understands. My mom knows. Like she's
Mm.
fine. She laughs about it. But 7 days would probably freak her out a bit.
The thing is, your body is gonna do way more healing than.
Well, she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I know that.
Teacher,
Oh fuck!
give us some
7 days.
resources.
I also don't want to. I also want to eat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking let's stick with 3 at the end of the month. At the end of
I'm
Ramadan.
still too attached. I'd be just spending the time just counting down. Like the last 3 days of Ramadan, we'll do 3 days.
Yeah. We can do it. We've done it before. We've done
Yeah.
it twice before.
Yeah. Second time was cool. Yeah, whatever. Boom.